Well, hello there and welcome back to a brand new video where today is a very, I wasn't going to say an exciting day, it's been a very interesting day. So the guys over at Cyberpunk 2077, so CD Projekt Red, has once again given us their famous yellow banner, their famous notice saying, "Dear gamers," and I woke up this morning and I saw this, and I saw a lot of people like retweeting it, replying to it, and I was like, I wonder what this could be. Because Cyberpunk obviously came out a few days ago, I think on the 10th, and it's definitely been an interesting one, especially if you don't have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, and mainly play on the PS4, Xbox One, or the PC. Apparently a lot of people are seeing very bad graphics, some people are saying horrific bugs and crashes and all that stuff, which isn't really fun, to be honest, especially a game which has been delayed for multiple times, and based on the initial impressions from those type of users, they've kind of said, it's not a finished product, right? It's not the finished article. We would have probably, wouldn't mind this game coming out next year to make sure it's, all polished and ready to go. And if you're a PS5 gamer like myself, or an Xbox Series X gamer, to be honest, it's not bad. Like on the PS5 for me, I'm enjoying the game. So far, touch wood, I haven't had any bugs or glitches or anything crashing. I'm not too familiar with the game yet, so I don't know if a bug is a bug because, I haven't played it long enough. But from my experience, the graphics are not good at all on the PS5. I understand it's basically the PS4 Pro version, but they should have really made this game for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. The announcement I'm going to talk to you guys about, and what we're going to quote from this, is they've kind of said that we should have shown you guys last gen gameplay. They didn't really plan too much investment in developing the game for last gen, and with the limited storage, the limited shortage of the Xbox Series X and the PS5, a lot of people are playing Cyberpunk on obviously their PS4s and their Xbox Ones and their PCs. So they've actually given us a statement. They've actually told us about a few patches. They've also told us about potential refunds as well if you're not actually happy with the product. But no, Cyberpunk for me, the graphics on the PS5, and let's say I know it's the PS4 Pro version, but it's lacking compared to games like The Last of Us Remastered, The Last of Us 2. Now, a lot of people on Twitter have expressed their feelings, going that despite the hardware of a PS4 and an Xbox One being over 7 years old, this game should look better than it does. And I agree, right? Like Last of Us 2 on the PS4 Pro looks amazing. Like the graphics was insane. The Cyberpunk's graphics on the PS4 and Xbox One, they look atrocious. You're probably thinking maybe PS3 standard, to be honest, or Xbox 360 standard. It's the graphics are okay, but not amazing. And if this was a game which was going to sell you a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, then it's definitely not, the game for it. But they have, they keep reiterating that there will be patches to come out with graphics updates, texture packs, and all that stuff. But no, it's definitely interesting. As I've been rambling on there for a moment, I just want to give you guys a bit of background. But Cyberpunk have now actually given us an official statement. They say, "Dear gamers, first of all, we'd like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence not allowing you to make more of an informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Second, we will fix bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. The first round of updates have just been released, and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. Expect more as we update frequently whenever new improvements are ready. After the holidays, we'll continue working. We'll release 2 large patches, starting with patch 1 in January. This will be followed by patch 2 in February. Together, these should fix the most prominent problems gamers are facing on last-gen consoles. We'll be informing you about the contents of each patch ahead of their release. They won't make the game on last-gen look like it's running on a high-spec PC or next-gen console, but it will be closer to that experience than it is now." That's very interesting. We'll talk about that in a moment. Finally, we would also like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase. We would appreciate if you give us a chance. But if you're not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund your copy. For copies purchased digitally, please use the refund system of PSN or Xbox respectively. For box versions, please first try to get a refund at your store where you bought the game. Should this not be possible, please contact us at this email address and we will do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week up until December 21st, 2020. And then they pretty much tell us, all these people, and they said PS, PC gamers will also be getting regular updates and fixes improving the game. So it's pretty interesting. The main points to take from this large statement is the fact that we have 2 patches, 1 patch coming out in January. We have another big patch in February. There will be a smaller patch coming out in the next 7 days. They mentioned that they should have shown gameplay on the PS4 and Xbox One, and it's pretty interesting. And they're also talking about refunds as well. So they're kind of doing their best in terms of, we have definitely rushed this game, is definitely what I think they're trying to say. I think the game's been delayed by so many things, right? You had the pandemic, which obviously delayed the game, but then we had the game delayed before the pandemic. And I think with the game coming out in December, they should have made the decision to delay it until February, March, right? Because this is almost like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky wasn't a great game on day one, and it wasn't a great game after a year. But after all the patches, it then became quite a good game. And with Cyberpunk, and like with any other game which wasn't amazing on day one, a lot of people remember the first impressions. So if the first impressions wasn't great, yes, making patches might change your mind, but you're still going to remember that first impression, right? So that's an interesting thing. And I think the one reason why they probably released the game, in December was because Christmas, they're probably going to make a bunch of money. And, it was an easy win for them. But at the same time, they probably wasn't thinking of his backlash in the community where they're going, hang on a sec, I understand this game wasn't technically built for the next gen, because if it was, they would have brought out that patch already. But I don't know, to be honest, I don't really know which consoles they're making this game for, right? It doesn't look good on the PS4. It doesn't look good on the PS4 Pro, and it doesn't look good on the PS5. Same for Xbox, right? So if they were making it for the PS5 and Xbox Series X, then sure, the graphics would be amazing, but they've said that there will be a future patch coming out to address the graphics and obviously the enhancements from previous gen to next gen. So I to be honest, when they say we should be paying more attention to make it better on the PS4 and Xbox One, I imagine they were building the game for that console. Because, like I said, if they were making it for the PS5 or Xbox Series X, then surely the game on the PS5 and Xbox Series X would look amazing, but it doesn't. So, I don't know. I mean, Cyberpunk, for me, I'm enjoying the game so far. I think some of you guys are enjoying it too. It's definitely an interesting game, and I would like to complete it because it was a very hyped game, and I don't know if that was good for them or not, because whenever the community hype a game, there's a lot of pressure. And, for example, take Fall Guys, for example. Fall Guys didn't really have too much hype. It was free on the PlayStation Plus, if you remember, and it went crazy. It went crazy the first few weeks, and then afterwards, they couldn't keep up with the demand because they wasn't expecting it. And Cyberpunk, I think for them, over the last few years, the hype was there, and they didn't want to disappoint any more people by delaying it again. But I think, to be honest, we were so used to them going, oh, it's delayed. To be honest, I don't think no one would have cared if they delayed it until next year to make the game even better. But I fully understand, obviously, the pandemic. The game plays well for me. It's great, but for everyone else, the game isn't playing that well. And some people have seen bugs on the PS5, and some people have seen bugs on the Xbox Series X. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, they did bring out a patch, I think yesterday or the day before, and apparently it fixed a few things. But my main concern is probably the graphics. It's definitely not a current gen title, neither a next gen title, especially when you've played games like The Last of Us 2, when you're just blown away. So it's interesting to see what other developers can do with the hardware. It just shows, I don't know. But all in all, it's pretty good that Cyberpunk are giving us information. I just hope this doesn't become a No Man's Sky, where the hype was there, first impressions wasn't great, and then it took a few years for this game to actually come out with all these amazing patches to make the game great. So yeah, what are your thoughts, guys? And what are your thoughts about Cyberpunk being, giving us this statement? Do you think they made a mistake by releasing it early? Please let me know. But if you have enjoyed today's video, then be sure to massive thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, comment on thoughts, guiding us. But anyway, guys, have a wonderful day, and as we'll see you in my next video. Adios, chaps. Boom.
And her goal is not in her. She's a